9:30 this morning, church bells across America rang out in a moment of national silence, one chime for each victim of the tragedy that struck Newtown, Connecticut 1 week ago. Yet even as this nation comes together to mourn, we remain deeply divided. All week, Nightline has dedicated our broadcast to examining the complex relationship between America and its guns. Tonight, the most divisive day yet. Here's my co-anchor, Terry Moran.
In Newtown this morning, silence 1 week after the children screaming and the madman shooting. Silence across the country, silence in the Oval Office, and that ancient marker of mourning and remembrance, church bells. The pain is still raw, the horror still fresh. But in Washington, the debate is already beginning, and today a key voice, a powerful voice, was at last heard.
The National Rifle Association.
Wayne LaPierre, the longtime executive vice president of the NRA, took to the podium in Washington just an hour or so after the national moment of remembrance. For a week, the NRA had been silent, uncharacteristically silent, as their opponents lambasted them. Today, LaPierre fired back.
The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. But since when did the gun automatically become a bad word? I call on Congress today to act immediately to appropriate whatever is necessary to put armed police officers in every single school in this nation.
It was the classic NRA crisis response. No retreat, no surrender. The answer to gun violence is more guns, LaPierre said, and he railed against the very notion of gun-free school zones.
They tell every insane killer in America that schools are the safest place to inflict maximum mayhem with minimum risk.
But LaPierre really had another mission, blame. It's not guns, he argued, it's
blood-soaked films out there, violent video games. The political class here in Washington, D.C., a national media machine.
The NRA has blood on its hands.
Even as LaPierre spoke, gun control activists who had slipped past tight security twice interrupted him.
NRA, stop killing our children.
And on Capitol Hill, Democrats seeking tougher gun control laws denounced his proposals.
The NRA has declined to step forward as a credible and constructive partner.
And there was this on the Facebook page of Mark Kelly, husband of former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, grievously wounded in a mass shooting last year. Gabby and I are extremely disappointed. The NRA could have chosen to be a voice for the vast majority of its own members who want common sense, reasonable safeguards on deadly firearms, but instead it chose to defend extreme pro-gun positions. But the NRA's message today wasn't aimed at its critics. It was a stark reminder to its allies, politicians who need the NRA's support, toe the line.
They stifle any meaningful discussion about these issues because everyone, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, you're afraid of them. And they bully you.
Deborah Maggart, a former Republican leader in the Tennessee House of Representatives, is a lifelong member of the NRA, a staunch conservative. She supported gun rights throughout her career, earning an A+ rating from the NRA. Until this year, when she opposed a bill allowing Tennesseans to carry guns in cars, even when property owners, nursing homes, daycare centers objected.
Never voted against them. But the one time, we say, wait a minute, this is really not a good idea. They came after me as hard as they could.
They sure did. Billboards pairing Maggart with President Obama, the kiss of death for Tennessee Republicans. Flyers, newspaper ads, internet videos.
That's because while both say they support our Second Amendment rights, they've both worked against our freedoms behind closed doors.
They prey on your fear. They know that most people won't have the courage to stand up to them.
But Deborah Maggart did. And paid the price. She lost her primary race to her NRA-backed challenger. And that's the way the NRA has long operated, striking fear into the hearts of Republicans and Democrats alike. In this year's presidential campaign, the GOP candidates fell all over themselves to curry favor with the organization.
And it is great to be with so many friends here today from the National Rifle Association.
But is it different this time?
Everyone in this country at one time or another has loved a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old. And I think the NRA, for once, I think everybody is paying attention to how they operate. They have stifled meaningful discussion by using fear and intimidation tactics to keep people from saying the things that maybe need to be said.